Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome, or hopefully it's welcome back to USA Global TV. And hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and we wish you the happiest of holidays and just joy and peace and fantastic health. Thank you so much for your loyalty and for being here. Our show today is The Listening Mentor. I just love this show because this is an opportunity for people who are on my team. They have taken the time, made the investment to learn how to listen. Why is this important? Because there's so much discord and strife in the world. And I truly believe a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't listen to each other. We listen with judgment. We listen with solutions that people didn't ask us for. We interrupt people. We overtalk one another. So I'm just thrilled that there are a group of people who have decided to do something about it. And two of them are here today. They are elevated listeners. Caroline Heward, welcome to the program. And Mariska, welcome.
Hey.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. 3 time zones. How about that?
Oh, right. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's quite late here.
And very early
Mariska's
in the morning.
Yeah, she's on the next day already. Yeah. So how
oh my gosh. So it's really late for you. Oh, wow.
It is New Year's Eve today for me. So, yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
Christmas Eve.
You're ahead a week.
She's so excited. So I'm really happy that you are both here. We've done role plays together, which is so much fun. I was thinking today, I wonder if they've met each other. I'm like, hello, we have role plays that they've done together. So it's wonderful to have you both back. I'm going to spotlight each of you, and I want you to share with our audience, for people who are watching for the first time, what is it that you each do, and why is it so important for you to become an elevated listener? We'll start with Caroline.
Hello, everybody. I'm Caroline Heward, and I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert. Stress. I was working in corporate and very seriously stressed out, but a successful high flyer. And it caused me problems. It caused me sleep problems. It caused me relationship problems. It caused me intimacy problems, and also physical aches and pains. But I didn't know. I just kind of put up with the headaches. I put up with the sleep problems, and I put up with the relationship issues. And essentially, my life just wasn't working. I was hugely successful in work, but the home life, the personal life just didn't work. And I know there's thousands, millions of people like that, just like I was. And I want to help you to sort out what doesn't work for you, what you put up with. And I work with the chakra system, chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects, and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally when there's an imbalance. And when there's an imbalance, that's the symptom, whether it's a relationship breakup, an intimacy issue, a physical or emotional mental pain. There's an issue that's not being handled. And I help you with that. And I bust your stress by identifying root cause. It's an extraordinary way for you to resolve issues and repeat behavior patterns. And I offer a free Zoom consultation to literally bust your stress. That's Caroline Heward, the Harley Street Stress Expert. And you can reach me on nomorestress@live.co.uk.
I love your energy, Caroline. I'm ready to go running through the streets. Yes, I love it.
Well, I'm on it. I'm ready. Yeah. I've been doing some work and I'm on it right now.
You are on it. Good for you. All right. Thank you for sharing that. And let's go over to New Zealand, to Mariska. Tell us all about you and why it's important for you to be an elevated listener.
Hello, guys. Mariska here from New Zealand, as Jacalyn just mentioned. And I am a transition and leadership coach. So the reason that listening is so important is everything we do is to do with relationships. And, well, we need to listen to others in order for them to also listen to us. So for me, listening comes in not only in the work I do with my clients, but also the work my clients will go out and do in the world. And that's really, really important. I mean, the better we can build out the relationships, the better it is for us to help us to build our teams and for us to really make that difference in the world that we want to make. So yeah, it's one thing to try and do it by ourselves. It's a lot easier if we have a whole bunch of people that we can actually achieve this thing and a lot more together. So that is what I do, and that is why listening is so important for me. And of course, being in the time period of reflection and looking at what has happened and what we want to happen in the coming year, I'm also offering free consultations for planning 2022 to make sure that you and your team will have a successful year ahead. So if you are interested in that, please contact me at mariska@journeytodiscover.com.
Yes, Mariska, fantastic. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate both of you having a special offer for our audience. I think that's terrific. All right, guys, it's the exciting role play that we are going to do for our audience. And I just want our viewers and our listeners to understand that on this show, I like to have us do role play so that you can observe the behavior and maybe recognize it in your own life. And when you recognize it, maybe you can start to change it, right? I didn't say try. You will change it if you recognize it and you take ownership of it. So today's role play is the family dinner table during the holidays. And the three of us haven't seen each other because of the pandemic. And we now are together at someone's home. We've been seated next to one another at the dinner table. So Caroline and Mariska, you two are having a conversation and I am on the outside listening in. So go ahead and start anytime you want.
Mariska, oh, it's so lovely to see you. And it's Christmas. It's like sort of, just really.
Excuse me. Do you mind if I switch seats with you?
Mariska, just give me a hug. It's just amazing to see you.
I'm sorry.
It is wonderful to see.
Can I switch seats with you? Because I really want to sit next to her. Can I?
Can I just catch up with Mariska for a few minutes? Because we really haven't seen each other for a while, and it'd be so cool. And then we can have a chat with you too, and you can join us.
Great. Okay. Can you pass the butter, please?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Mariska, what have you been up to during the summer?
Well, it was so much fun. I actually want to tell you about my holiday.
Oh my God. I did the best thing during the holidays. You don't even know how much fun I had. Okay, let me just start to tell you that I went skiing. I'm not used to skiing. And I had such a good time. You know what? Have you ever gone skiing?
No.
It's not my thing. I would fall over. Literally.
Yeah, well, guess what? I didn't fall over. I was standing tall. I was skiing down there and I saw some people. It was the best vacation ever. Can you please pass the sugar bowl?
Do you know what, Mariska? Let's do this another time.
It sounds like we need some, one-on-one time to catch up.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Let's take some time in the kitchen and then we can really catch up. Let's all volunteer to do the washing in between.
Yes, we can do the washing up and then catch up at the same time. Sounds like a
Cool.
plan.
All right,
And we
good.
can find
Very
out all about
good.
the skiing trip.
So I have to tell you, as the person who was totally rude, it actually, like, I have pains in my chest. Like, it felt horrible even to ask for the butter. And people do that all the time, right? You try to wait for the opening to ask, can you pass this or that? How did it feel to the two of you when I kept interrupting?
It was the word that I would come up with is intrusive. You know, that we wanted to catch up, and at every moment that there was like a smile and we were kind of going for it, then there was you coming in and saying something. And the skiing trip, I thought it was really cool. I mean, I've never been skiing, and I don't think I would fall over. So that wasn't a lie. The fact that you came in with something that really didn't appeal, when we were asking about summer holidays, you came with skiing. But it was contrary. It was contradictory to people getting together, but the affection, the love, it almost stilted the connection that would have been possible. So it was almost like a disconnection.
Good points. And by the way, I am not a skier at all. I did go skiing and somebody knocked into me, rolled down the hill. So I'm not pro skiing, but Mariska, how did it feel to you?
It felt quite disruptive. Only just getting into a conversation with Caroline, and then something happens. It's sort of like, okay, hold on. No, I need to reboot. I need to do something else here. And then, I don't know, it feels almost impolite not to listen to the person that's interrupting.
Yeah.
So it's uncomfortable because they're interrupting, but I also don't want to be impolite to them. So I don't know how to not do whatever they're interrupting with and then still carry on the conversation I actually want to have with Caroline. So that was, to me, it was almost feeling like it split me a little bit in two internally. Like, I want to give the attention this side, but yeah, okay. Butter, that's fine. Sugar, whatever it is.
But, Mariska, you bring up a good point. You bring up a really good point, and this happens all the time, not specifically what I did. How many times do you go to an event or a function, you see someone you haven't seen for a while, right? And now you're turning to speak to them, and there's another person on the periphery who has no one to speak to because the other two people are speaking. So it's a third person, it's a fifth person, and then they're stuck there, not having anyone to talk to. Have you had that happen?
Oh gosh, yeah, many times. I mean, I was quoted in a book about my serious networking skills, and because I used to teach networking a long time ago, business networking, and one of the things that I would do, because I would teach this, because it does happen, is to say, it's been great catching up with you. I'll catch up with you later. And almost, I call it a smart exit, actually, but rather than you dangling, to actually take your leave by saying, I'll catch you later, so that they know that you have left, because otherwise they're engaged and they won't realize that they've left someone, because they're so engaged and connected. And that has happened, and it's not that they're doing it to be derisory or difficult. It's because they've connected. And when you connect like that with somebody that you haven't seen for a while, it blurs, everything else disappears. It certainly does with me. I mean, I have done that myself, where I've seen somebody and then I've kind of turned. And even though, I know how to do networking properly, it's very easy because it's human nature.
So true. And Mariska, I want to have you weigh in on something. Normally in the past, what I've done in a situation like that, if I'm actually having a conversation with this person and I see another person sitting there, I'll say, I'm sorry, what is your name, please? Susan, this is Deborah. And I'm Jacalyn, and we were just having a chat, but we'd love to include you if you'd like to be part of our conversation. And sometimes people say, yes, thank you for doing that, or no, that's okay. But then at least this way you've extended the offer to include them. Mariska, what are your thoughts about that?
I found that especially in-person interactions, so when I stand with my shoulders to the other person that I'm talking to, it sort of closes it off to the rest of the room because we're in our own little bubble. But if we sort of both decide that, well, it's a casual conversation, but we're open to actually inviting other people in, and there might be somebody sitting close by, what I normally would do is I will just turn my shoulders out a little bit so it makes a V shape. And that also indicates with my body language that, hey, we are having a conversation, but you are more than welcome to come in. So verbally inviting them in, but also showing that they are welcome to come in. And then we can have a conversation between the three of us instead of feeling that somebody's interrupting into just a two-way conversation. So, yeah.
That's
I
beautiful.
like that. Yeah, I've never
That's
thought
beautiful.
of that before.
One of the things that I would do is literally, as you said, I almost turn my legs, to face them. So if I'm speaking to somebody, I'll kind of like shift my body, but my it's kind of weird. So make a little turn, so that they feel, or I'll sort of look at them, and then I'll say, almost like to say, yes, come and join. But one of the things that I also would do is, especially as I'm a bit of a seasoned networker, well, that was when sort of we used to meet rather than being on Zoom online, is that I would say, do you mind if I join you? And when you blatantly ask if they're in a deep conversation, they will then be open to say, oh yeah, please do, tell us about you. Or they might say, oh, we're just talking about something that's, sort of we need to get sorted because it's a business thing, and we'll come and find you. So you're giving the opening and you're taking ownership as the person that wants to come in. But it's horses for courses. Some people, they go to networking events and they're just meeting up and they're having a jolly. They're with their friends and they're having a jolly. So it depends on whether it's a friendship that you're interacting on, or it's a real business networking event. When it's business networking, it would probably be a lot easier to make those interruptions.
Good point. So let's go back to the dinner table. Yesterday on the Listening Mentor, our team member Hyatt Ives, he shared something I thought was very interesting, that the conversations that take place at the holiday dinner table should be, the conversation should be at the level for a child. So in other words, any topics that you wouldn't speak to children about should probably not be discussed around the holiday dinner table. What are your thoughts about that, Caroline?
Well, I'm going to share something with you, actually, something very, very personal, because I did have such an instance a long time ago with one of my brothers. And he said, and it was across the dinner table, the Christmas lunch table. So I'm absolutely in agreement with you. It should be very light. It should be very easy. But he made reference to the fact that he knew a lot of people that I knew, and he knew some of the boyfriends that I'd had, as when I was young. And he said, do you know, he said, sis, he said, girls are known as either a tart or a tease. And he said, I'm very, very pleased to say that my sister is known as a tease. And I'm thinking, I don't know how to take that. But none of it sounded good. But, I felt that was in front of everyone. And I didn't actually know, I felt that it was trying to be complimentary, being a lad, but I didn't actually understand, his perspective. But I felt that it was being complimentary, but neither term sounded very wonderful to me. And he says, I know that, you've been a good girl. He said, because I know. it's kind of, I don't think that's etiquette around a Christmas lunch table.
Yes. And so did that hurt at all because you weren't sure what the meaning was?
I felt uncomfortable, even though I felt on some level he was being complimentary, because I'm very straight talking, and my brothers can be the same back to me, which is great, but guys seem to have a level of conversation that's different to girls. They will term things differently. And so it was difficult for me because I just didn't know what he meant. And I was uncomfortable because my mum was sitting there. We were all having Christmas lunch, and I'm going, I'm kind of squirming in the chair, feeling, very uncomfortable. What he was actually, saying was something from his perspective was nice. But it was challenging. So I don't believe that those kinds of things should be discussed, and certainly not in front of children. War, politics, religion, because these are the subjects that are the creation of a dissent. We'll all have our own opinions, and they're challenging for children because they will have their own feelings and they will want to side with their parents. So, my mum, when I was very young, she said to me, she was very wise, my mum, she says these wise owl things to me. And she said, daughter, you will do very well if you stay away from 3 subjects when you were talking to anybody: religion, war, and politics. She says, you stay away from those and you'll have friends for life. And, it's pretty cool advice, because I've lived by that, and it works, because as soon as you enter into those conversations, we have opinions, and then they don't work. If you're staunch one religion, you'll be against another. So yes, and it's important that the children are included. It's important that they feel part of the family dinner conversation. And not being told, oh, this is adult conversation, which I have seen happen. Oh, we've got children around the table, so we have to be considerate. And some people are ticked off because there are children around the table, and swearing as well. Somebody swears, I have children around the table, we can't, so it's about remembering that the children are there. And even if they're not there, keeping it light, keeping it easy, keeping it light, keeping it fun.
Really good points. Thank you. And thanks for sharing that story with us. That's great what your mom taught you. Mariska, what would you like to add?
Well, I think Caroline covered most of it. I do agree. Lightness, that's why we having the gathering, to enjoy time with one another. And we want it to be light and easy. We don't want it to feel heavy and stuffy and, well, do I even want to go into this room with these people because something might pop up that's going to be uncomfortable. And I know for me with my family, when I think about a family gathering, I remember my one friend. She actually joined us on one of our Christmas gatherings once. And she said to me, you know what, your family behaves so weird. I thought, what? Because for me, it feels normal, right? And she said, no, you guys would banter about stuff and almost take each other out in a way that she wasn't used to. And then with her observation, what I realized is when going into another family that isn't the one that we grew up in, to be very conscious of the way that they interact with each other, because it might be different to the way we normally grew up interacting with each other. So I found that quite interesting, just observing how she saw my family, and we we laughed and we had fun, and to me it was quite playful, but she experienced it in a different way. So that was just something that while Caroline was talking, that came up for me. It was sort of like, yeah, I can see how different people can experience things differently just because of our perspective, and even in the same family, right? So taking those things into consideration during this
He was giving me a huge compliment, but I just, I did actually turn around to my brother and say, "This is Christmas lunch." I don't think it's ideal topic.
Mariska, are you still friends with this person?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Good. One thing I wanted to share is, because the holidays are completely different for many of us, right? And family members are different parts of the world. And anyway, what I want to share is that prior to the pandemic, if I was somewhere for a family function or with friends and they would bring up certain topics, I would say, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I don't watch the news. What? You don't watch the news? And then instead of whatever that topic is, now we're talking about why I don't watch the news. And I would just say that because I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to have that conversation. And I really don't watch the news. I read it, but I don't watch it. So
I'm with you.
You are one step closer to the news than I am. I do not watch it and I do not read it.
Yeah, I like that. You're one step closer, but then they might also start going into whatever the story is, because sometimes people feel really adamant, passionate. It's like, oh, now I have this captive audience at this table, and now I'm going to use it as my soapbox to talk about whatever it is.
I don't watch the news, and in this changed world time, there are things that we need to know, about grants and about restrictions. So there are things that are important for us to know. And I have to confess that I can get the top lines that I need just by, if I switch it on, just getting like the headlines. I know that sounds terrible. So I feel that if I do need something, because we have had a lot of, platformed, right then, this is going to change. You can't fly at this time. And, so there are things that, you have to act on or be aware of, I should say. And so when I did switch on the platformed, speeches from the Prime Minister, I felt that I was switching it off because I felt that I got everything in the first few minutes. And also Facebook's pretty cool. Yes. Facebook actually, if I need to know something now, there'll be people like going, oh, you'll never guess what, now we've got this going on. So I feel that rather than getting all the way into it and getting sucked into the drama and the panic and the fear, yes, it's useful to have. It's like being informed without getting too drawn in. And news is repetitive. So, they have to tell you at least 3 or 4 times. That's the nature of the newscaster broadcasts. So you can seriously take it all in the first few minutes. And you can catch up. I don't read. I don't read newspapers. I don't listen to the radio. And I just switch on my Hotmail, and there's like a news feed, a front feed, and I get it there. If there's something I need to know, then I find out. I found out when Michael Jackson died on the day. I found out when George Michael died, and it was on the day. So I get what I need, without getting too drawn in. And I feel it's good to be observant of not getting too drawn into the news, because it is sensationalized, because that's the drama of the way the news is. It's to captivate. I used to work in PR and marketing, and that's the nature of what they're doing. So you can get caught up, and it can change your state, and that's not good. And it can also cause you a lot of stress. Whereas if you're just taking bite-sized information, then you don't get so caught up and you don't feel so panicked by it. just informed.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And I'll share something. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was living alone and I had the news on 24/7. I think I had CNBC on just all the time I was awake. And after 2 months of being in that apartment alone with the news, I had to actually leave the apartment. And I was literally terrified, like to open the door, to touch the doorknob and go on the other side, which is the same hallway, the same place that I've lived, right? It was like, I'm entering this crazy, strange world. Am I going to be sick? And then when I got to my car and I started driving, I was like, what have I been doing? Like, I have been living like an insane person. There's a whole world out here that I have not had the experience to explore for the last 2 months. So I really related to the fact that I kept the news on and I was so drawn in that it affected me mentally.
And that's exactly why I've said this, because you can get so fear and panicked when you're hearing everything that you don't know what's real. The mind doesn't know what's real or imagined. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying it's the response. It's the reaction. You know, it's not about the event. It's always about how we respond and react that creates our dis-ease and our imbalance and our stress, our anxiety, and our mental health issues. And I did actually say, I was interviewed at the beginning of the year, this year, by Sky Television and by Ian Turner as well. And I was talking about this, that I feel that we have a mental health pandemic. I feel that that's more what we really have, because there are people that are so fearful and so frightened about touching anything, about going anywhere. And that's evident. You know, I've really, really witnessed that. You know, my mum wouldn't leave her home either. You know, she wouldn't even walk up the garden path because she was frightened. And, you know, and that was difficult for me to hear. You know, she was frightened to go into a superstore. And that's real. That's not imagined. That's not fake. And that her mental health was hugely affected because she had the news on. But there was a point that she said, you know what, I'm not listening to it anymore. You know, but I think she takes it in the stride that I do, that she is informed without getting too drawn in. But it's very easy. You know, if you're watching a movie, have you ever watched a movie and started crying? I'm sorry, I'm giving my secrets away here. You know, I can watch Mrs. Doubtfire and always be in tears at the end of the movie because it's so funny and yet moralistically sad, you know, that how the movie plays out. And I can be watching a love story and be fearful and, you know, and then be sad or be smiling, you know, because we get drawn in. You know, that's the nature of what they're doing. You know, that's the nature of entertainment, that we get drawn in and we start to feel. And that's good on some levels, but it's not good to feel all that stress.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Mariska, anything you want to share?
I'm reflecting on what Caroline said about the entertainment industry in general. When you think about the news, yes, it is for information, but it's also for entertainment. And the things that sell is the things that is drama and, I don't know, blown almost out of proportion. And they do that because it sells, because people want to see all these things. And it plays on our emotions. Something that I've noticed just in the last about week is I had quite a few friends that was very anxious. And I'm not normally an anxious person, but because I was in the vicinity of people that was very anxious, it started sort of washing over. And I was like, no, I don't want this in my life. I don't need this in my life. So I actually made a conscious effort to distance myself from it. And I have to say, I'm feeling a lot better now. but realizing what our environment is doing to us, whether it is watching the news, whether it is talking to people that might not be serving us at that stage in the way that we want to be served. But realizing that this is happening and that we physically, by exposing ourselves to that environment, is causing it to ourselves. And by just taking yourself out of it, you can help yourself be in a mentally better place and actually recover from all the anxieties and stress and not so nice emotions.
Yes. And when we think about listening, I always think we have to listen to ourselves first, our intuition. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel right in our bodies, then step away from it. I know for me, when I check the news, I like to get, here in the United States, it's obvious which party is backing which news outlet. So I like to get two perspectives and then a third. So I'll just scroll down and I'll say, doom, gloom, doom, gloom. Oh, that might be interesting. Doom, gloom. And I just go past. I see the headlines and I just, no, next. I don't know. I'm not going to take that all in, because if you did, even just scrolling down a screen, everything that's drama and explosive, if you just saw those headlines and focused on it, you might not even leave your bed. You might not even leave your room.
That's so true. That's just really true. One of the things that I'm in a group of people, a little bit whacked out because I do wacky things. But I'm in communities online, Facebook in particular. That's my chosen platform, where people share jokes. And living on my own, I will get a joke pop in because I have like a media signal, like a bing, so I know when something's come in, which is sometimes intrusive and sometimes it's really nice because, I don't always go into it. So it's kind of nice to have the bing because it might be a joke and it might make me laugh. And then when I get a ping and there is this really, really funny joke and I'm in bits. And so one of my frequent responses is to find a funny emocon and then like sort of the emocon that is the big laughter with the tears rolling down. And it changes how I feel. It changes my state. It lightens me. And from the very beginning, I landed up being in this beautiful community of people that were literally sharing memes and jokes and almost sending up what was happening. Because humor, the greatest humor is great because it's sending up what's going on. So you can digest the information, but lighter and easier. And so, yeah, my Facebook wall is filled with jokes and sometimes I share them. Not often, but sometimes I share them. And sometimes, but I'm in laughter. And, in some of the very dark times in the UK, I so welcomed that laughter. I so welcomed the humour and the spontaneity of people think and sharing it. The people that were literally from their heart sharing, they were sharing because it made them laugh and they wanted to extend the laughter. But humour is an extraordinary thing because when you laugh, you actually laugh into your lower belly. You belly laugh. And so when you belly laugh, this is where the feelings and emotions are. This is where the sexual energy is. And this is also the pleasure zone as well. So when you laugh, I know I can't help myself. When you laugh, I can see where it's going. When you laugh down here, you feel amazing, and this is where it moves you out of the pain into a feeling of lighterness and easierness. And so I do like to share jokes because I know the difference it makes. And I like to share music videos for the same reason, because if I start singing along, when you sing, you go into the same place and you feel better. You don't feel so stressed. And, that's my give because of the study and the work that I do. I know these things work. I know that when you laugh, you feel better, so, I'm always spreading humor because it makes me feel good. And so it makes everyone else feel good. I know for sure it does.
Yes, I love to laugh. I love funny movies that are so stupid you actually fall off the chair because you're laughing so hard. There's nothing better than that to make you feel good. We are at the end of our show, believe it or not. And
It
I
can't
love,
be. This goes too
yes,
quick.
I know it does. I just want to let our audience know that the Listening Mentor program going forward in 2022 is going to be 5 days a week. So our team members can sign up whenever it is they want to be here and be part of it. And if you would like to join our team, because we have so much fun, right? We just learn so much from each other and have so much fun. There is an upcoming seminar, and it is the 5th of January, the foundational courses parts 1 and 2. You can go over to Eventbrite and you can sign up. Once you take parts 1 and 2 and you pass the quiz with 100%, you too will be an elevated listener. We'd love to have you join our team. Caroline.
This has been fun.
It has. And I always learn from both of you. So, Caroline, you have a special offer for the holidays. What is it?
Drop me an email on nomorestress@live.co.uk and book in your free Stress Buster Zoom consultation. We will look at what's causing you your stress, and I will identify a root cause. You'll feel better, more relaxed, and you'll also get a good night's sleep. It is my gift. I know Christmas can be a very stressful time with families, in relationships, because we're thrown together. Please call me on this and book it in. And I really look forward to serving you and helping you bust your stress.
And you're going to have some laughs too. I guarantee that. Right, Caroline?
I just can't help myself. I'm sorry.
It's a beautiful thing. It is. And Mariska, you also have a special offer. What is that?
So for this time of reflection and thinking about what happened during the year, I am giving away a free 2022 planning session where we will look at what it is that you want to achieve, maybe not even just in 2022, looking at your long-time plan, but how to actually do that in 2022, incorporate what it is that you want and what you would get out of that year, making it a little bit more intentional going into the year. So you can book at Mariska at journeytodiscover.com, and then we can start planning for the future and making sure that the plans actually get executed.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure. Will I be seeing you together again next week or some other time?
I need to book in. I'm looking at booking sort of the 29th or 30th. I just need to do that because it'd be good to do something for New Year. I want to wish everybody a really, really lovely Christmas, a really lovely, happy holiday time with their families, with their loved ones, and with their friends. And also thinking about the people that are spending it alone. My heart goes out, and I wish you an extraordinary, happy time, whatever everybody is doing.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Take care of yourself, be good to yourself, right? Self-care, self-love. That's what it's all about. We'll look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow when we have a full day of shows. And again, Caroline and Mariska, always wonderful working with both of you and having some laughs at the same time.
It was wonderful being here with the two of you, and a Merry Christmas. And I hope that today's lesson actually helps some people in the Christmas interactions this year.
It definitely helped me. Some good reminders. So, all right, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Happy holidays. Bye.
Bye.